Joining us now to talk all of this is the former U.S. ambassador to NATO, Kurt Volker. Ambassador, great to have you on the show. So Ukraine just announced it advanced another 1.5 miles into Russia today. How stunning is it that 9 days in, Putin has failed to stop this?
It's really remarkable that Russia has still no plan for what to do here. It's understandable. They had dedicated 90% of their fighting forces to fighting in Ukraine. That's where they all are, and that's what they've been dedicating their effort to. But to leave Russia so undefended, and then after an incursion to not even be able to move forces there and to defend, that is really quite stunning.
Yeah, it's a huge psychological win for Ukraine as well, and a morale boost for the troops. But what's the end game here? How long do you think Ukraine will hold this territory inside Russia?
Well, ultimately, the end game is that Ukraine will be a sovereign, independent European democracy, a part of the European Union and a part of NATO. And Putin will have failed in his objective to eliminate Ukraine as a state and as a people. That's the end state. Now, there's a lot of bumps in the road on the way there. It's unclear exactly how things will play out. But Ukraine will now hold some Russian territory. And this will be very important both for, as you said, the psychology. It'll be important for any negotiations that come in the future. It's no longer just about what Ukraine gives up, but instead a mutual deal of some kind.
Right. Is it a swap? You know, we'll give you your territory back if you don't take quite as much of ours?
That'll be one component of it. That's not the whole thing, of course, but that would certainly be one component of it now. And then it does put a hole in Putin's narrative that this has been a cost-free special military operation, not a war, because now he's had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of his own citizens evacuated in order to avoid getting caught in a war. Yeah. So it is a very different situation now for Vladimir Putin, having sold this as easy, and now showing that he's the only Russian leader since World War II to provoke an invasion of Russia.
Yeah, Putin is pulling Russian troops back from Ukraine. He's sending in also these young, very inexperienced conscripts. What impact do you think that will have? Because remember, all those conscripts come from Russian families who know that their 18-year-old, 19-year-old is heading to Kursk to fight the Ukrainians inside Russia.
Right. Well, this is the consequence of those meat grinder tactics that he was employing all throughout the spring and the summer. You mentioned that Russia gained about 300 to 400 square miles of territory in Ukraine this year, but that was at tremendous cost, over 120,000 killed on the Russian side because they wanted to make those gains. And they've replaced those people with fresh conscripts, as you say, without training, very young, separated from their families. And Ukraine, meanwhile, has taken just as much territory in a week with very low cost to Ukrainian troops.
Right.
And is now taking these prisoners in order to swap back for Ukrainian soldiers.
Has this exposed a weakness, do you think, in the Russian military or in what Putin's maneuvers are?
Yes, it has, in my view. I think that we have always overestimated Russia's ability to do more, to escalate this war, to prevail because of numbers. The reality is that they have a much weaker fighting force than people imagine. They are more stretched than people imagine. Just what we see with Putin moving Russian troops from Ukraine, where they've been on the offensive, to defend Russian territory. This shows they don't have the capacity to both fight in Ukraine and defend Russia at the same time.
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to muster a defense, let alone escalate as a result of this Ukrainian incursion. So it shows that there is a much weaker situation on the Russian side than has been generally appreciated.
It's so interesting. Putin's calling the Russian response to all of this a counterterrorism operation because he still refuses, after all this time, to acknowledge that he invaded Ukraine and started this war. How embarrassing is all this for him? And does that humiliation make Putin more dangerous?
Well, it is very embarrassing for him, and we saw this week that he berated some generals and intelligence officials publicly on television in order to try to deflect blame from himself. So he obviously feels that very acutely. Now, when you say how dangerous does that make him, it again comes down to a question of capabilities. I don't think Russia has much in the way of capabilities to be more dangerous than it already has been.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.